morning, good afternoon. My name is Scott Eisner. I'm president of the U.S. Africa Business Center, and welcome to today's session. Before I kick things off, I'd like to recognize a number of our distinguished guests today. Obviously, if we were doing this in person, it would be a little bit different atmospherics, but I do want to recognize the Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry of Ghana, Deputy U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, Bennett Harmon, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Board of Directors, and members of the AmCham Ghana and their members of the media, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greatest phrases ever invented. All protocols are being observed today. Thank you again for joining us. And on behalf of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Africa Business Center and AmCham Ghana, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this 2021 edition of the U.S. Ghana Business Forum. In just a moment, I'll talk briefly about the Chamber's work in Africa, highlight our engagement in Ghana, and preview today's discussion. Then I'll introduce our keynote speakers and move on to the rest of the program. But before I do that, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our sponsors for today's event. Our gold sponsors are Cummins, Cosmos Energy, and Coca-Cola, and our silver sponsors, Masco Foods, KFC, and Kamathi Partners Corporate Attorneys. I also want to thank our partners for this event, the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Embassy in Accra, the U.S. Commercial Service in Ghana, GIPC, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, led by my good friend Yofi Grant, and the Ghana Houston Chamber of Commerce. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the preeminent policy vehicle on trade and investment in the United States between the U.S. and Africa. The Chamber is the world's largest business federation with a totaling membership of over 3 million members of all sizes, sectors, and regions. We're 109 years old, and we have a federation of more than 118 American chambers of commerce like the one in Accra, across 106 countries globally. We also have a network of over 2,500 American chambers of commerce locally in the United States. Over the past 30 years, AmCham Ghana has been at the front line of expanding trade and investment between the United States and Ghana. AmCham has recorded significant achievements and supported several high-level delegations, including the visit by President Bill Clinton, and more recently, the first edition of the U.S.-Ghana Business Roundtable organized during the fact-finding visit of the President's Advisory Council on Doing Business in Africa, led by then U.S. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross. Note that today's event takes place on the theme Promoting U.S.-Ghana Partnership Through Trade and Investment. With the commencement of trade under the preferential terms of the historic AFCFTA since January 1 of this year, Africa is poised to unite a 1.3 billion person market with the combined GDP of 3.4 trillion. This will pave the way towards harmonization of policies and greater interregional trade and integration. And according to the World Bank estimates, a full implementation of the AFCFTA could increase real income gain on the continent by 7%, or nearly $450 billion by 2035. As the host country of this Secretariat, Ghana is poised to take advantage of these opportunities presented by the agreement through the adoption of transformative reforms to attract foreign direct investment, develop its industrial base, increase productivity, and boost its economic job creation. At the U.S. Chamber, we're committed to supporting businesses of all sizes thrive and to ensure our member companies see Ghana and Africa as favorable investment destination. During the next 2 days, we'll plan to engage you in a conversation on how to promote U.S.-Ghana partnership through trade and investment, as today's event title indicates. Today, we'll quick start the forum with 3 high-level opening statements by the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, the Deputy Assistant Trade Representative for the United States for Africa, and the Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry from Ghana. You also have an address by the AFCFTA Secretariat on the state of U.S.-Africa business relations in the context of the AFCFTA, and this will be followed by a very robust panel discussion by policy experts on how do you boost inter-Africa trade and investment through digitization and e-commerce. And tomorrow, as this program continues, you'll be listening to 2 vibrant panel discussions on the prospects of Ghana's extractive energy and infrastructure sectors and developing U.S.-Ghana partnerships in manufacturing, services, and franchising. You also hear from the new Ghana ambassador to the United States on how to harness diaspora to promote trade and investment between the United States and Ghana, and the CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center on investment opportunities in Ghana for U.S. investors in the context, again, of the AFCFTA. I'd now like to introduce Ms. Aisha Bedwe, the president of AmCham Ghana, our co-host for today's event, who will introduce Ambassador Sullivan, the United States ambassador to Ghana, for her opening remarks. Aisha is a partner at PwC in Ghana and specializes in tax advisory services focused on the energy sector. She has over 18 years of experience in finance and accounting. She holds leadership positions within PwCs in the areas of corporate responsibility and diversity inclusion, and is responsible for PwC's West Africa market. She's a passionate leader in her career development, has focused a lot on the prestigious Africa Leadership Network since 2014. She's a true leader in Ghana, having been recognized numerous times for her positions and expanding opportunities for U.S. Africa trade. Aisha, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being a partner today.
Thank you so much, Scott, and good afternoon and good morning to everybody, wherever you are. I bring you greetings from Ghana and from the American Chamber of Commerce based in Ghana. I'm excited to be part of this important forum, and I'm just going to make a few introductory remarks before I introduce the American ambassador to Ghana. So, the theme for this forum is promoting US Ghana partnership through trade and investment. And it comes on the back of Ghana's hosting of the AFCTA Secretariat, and also after several months of trading through AFCTA, the world's largest free trade area in terms of a number of countries encompassing 1.3 billion people and about $3.4 trillion in GDP. I'd like to make some special acknowledgements for today for the Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Alan Tremanting, Mr. Bennett M. Harmon, Deputy Assistant U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, Office of U.S. Trade. Sorry. H.E. Stephanie Sullivan, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana. H.E. Hajia Alima Mahama, Ghana's Ambassador to the United States. Scott Eisner, President of the U.S. Business Center at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Grovera Yao, Executive Director at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Yofi Grant, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Pak Woshum, Vice President of AmCham Ghana, and to all speakers and panelists for this two-day event. This forum has become important to bring clarity to the new US administration's policies towards Africa in the context of the AFCTA, opportunities for trade and investment between our two countries, digital economy, extractive, energy, infrastructure, manufacturing, services, and franchising. And lastly, for us to understand the role of US companies in the implementation and the execution of the AFCTA. The Chamber pledges to work with the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce to alternate this forum between Ghana and the United States. So we're very hopeful that next year we can have a physical forum, and we probably will have it in the United States, God willing. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. So this forum was made possible by the kind courtesy of the following sponsors. Our gold sponsors, Cummins Ghana, Cosmos Energy LLC, and Coca-Cola, and our silver sponsors, Masco Foods, KFC, and Kimathi and Partners, corporate attorneys. I'd also like to acknowledge our partners for the forum, Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C., U.S. Commercial Service of the United States Department of Commerce, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and the Ghana Houston Chamber of Commerce. At the end of the conference, it is expected that the US-Ghana commercial partnership will be projected and enhanced, focused on improving the investment climate in Ghana and the African continent as a whole. Participants will be brought up to date on the latest trends on trade and investment and on the continent, and will have the opportunity to share their experiences, identify specific investment opportunities for future transactions. Thank you very much. And on that note, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who is H.E. Stephanie Sullivan, United States Ambassador to Ghana. Stephanie Sullivan is a career member of the Senior Foreign Service, a class of career minister, and was sworn in as U.S. Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Republic of Ghana on November 30th, 2018. She presented her credentials to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on January 23rd, 2019. Ambassador Sullivan was nominated by President Donald Trump on July 9th, 2018, and confirmed by the U.S. Senate on September 6, 2018. She formerly served as Ambassador to the Republic of Congo from 2013 to 2017. Most recently, she was the acting Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Bureau of African Affairs at the U.S. State Department, after having been Deputy Assistant Secretary for Central African Affairs and Security Affairs since January 2017. Ambassador Sullivan was Chief of Staff to the Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources from 2011 to 2013. She was previously Managing Director of the Office of Management Policy, Right Sizing and Innovation. She served multiple tours in the Executive Secretariat Operations Center, the State Department's 24/7 Briefing and Crisis Management Center, as Director from 2008 to 2010, Deputy Director from 2003-2005, Senior Watch Officer from 2002 to 2003, and Watch Officer from 1988 to 1989, and in the White House Situation Room from 1989 to 1990. Ms. Sullivan served as the political chief in Accra, Ghana from 1997 to 2001, and as a management consular and political officer in Douala and Yaoundé, Cameroon from 1986 to 1988. Other Washington assignments include desk officer for Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso in the Bureau of African Affairs from 1991 to 1993, as well as post-management and human resources positions supporting colleagues in Africa, Europe, and the Western Hemisphere. Ms. Sullivan was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Democratic Republic of Congo from 1980 to 1983, and later worked as Chief of Operations for the Africa region at the Peace Corps from 1994 to 1996. Ambassador Sullivan graduated from Brown University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Classics and from the National War College with a Master of Science in National Security Strategy. She speaks French, Lingala, and some Spanish. Madam Ambassador, I'm going to hand over to you now, and I'll encourage everybody to enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It's a real pleasure for me to participate in the opening session of this business forum organized by the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. The US and Ghana share a long-standing, strong, and dynamic relationship. We work together on a broad spectrum of issues, including public health, education, entrepreneurship, security, and perhaps most important for this audience, building business relationships. American businesses and investors deepen the ties between our two countries. We greatly appreciate the leadership of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana in advancing this aspect of our long-term partnership. There are well over 100 US firms operating in Ghana, from the development and exploration of major oil fields by Cosmos Energy to the transformation of healthcare delivery by Zipline, which transports life-saving medical products and vaccines to remote areas by drone. Companies are finding success in Ghana and contributing to prosperity in both our countries. American innovators are eager to partner with Ghanaian businesses across a wide range of industries that support their work, from logistics to raw materials and much, much more. I'm very pleased that despite the pandemic, this year several well-known American companies and brands have chosen Ghana as a market for growth. Twitter announced in April that it will open its West African headquarters here. The Far East Mercantile Company recently opened a new Estée Lauder cosmetics store, as well as 2 Domino's Pizza franchise stores in Accra. They actually let me make the first pizza at one of those, which had my kitchen staff in stitches. And in May, United Airlines reopened its direct nonstop route between Washington, D.C. and Accra. That same United flight delivered more than 1.2 million doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccines to Ghana just last Saturday morning. Along with Delta Airlines nonstop from New York, business travelers on both sides of the ocean have direct access to each other's markets. Ghanaian firms, too, are succeeding in the US market, where consumers are benefiting from quality-made products from right here in Ghana. For example, Emmy Beth Akukwanson is the dynamic owner of Kawa Mocha Coffee and an alumna of our Embassy Exchange programs. She landed a contract with Boston-based 7-Eleven stores to supply hundreds of well-known convenience stores with Ghanaian-grown coffee. American agribusiness firm Bunge Loders Cochrane is processing shea butter here in Ghana at a state-of-the-art fractionation facility in Tema, creating jobs locally and exporting shea products under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, or AGOA. Today, more than 6,500 goods can be exported duty-free from Ghana to the United States. And last year, Ghana exported almost $136 million in goods to the United States, mostly from Ghanaian companies. As Africa's economy and economies around the globe dust themselves off from the effects of the pandemic, the opportunity is ripe for the African Continental Free Trade Area to deliver on its objective to expand intra-regional trade and capture new foreign direct investment, with Ghana in the lead as host of the Secretariat. The AFCFTA is a game changer, not only for doing business across the continent, but also for how the world thinks of Africa. And Ghana is well positioned to capitalize on the new economic synergies and opportunities for growth that the AFCFTA can bring to the continent. I'm told of a Ghanaian proverb that I think fits quite well here. If an opportunity is not taken when it comes, it passes away. That entrepreneurial spirit of working hard, taking advantage of opportunities, and finding success is alive and well in Ghana, and it's a cornerstone of the U.S.-Ghana commercial relationship. Small and large companies alike, starting with an innovative idea, growing and expanding, then seeking partners and customers across the ocean, are what keep our trade relationship so active and vibrant. I remember during the visit of then President Bill Clinton in March 1998, during my earlier assignment in Ghana, first hearing of Ghana as the gateway to Africa. And I've watched our economic relationship grow and mature since then. For American companies participating today who might be new to the Ghanaian market, I say to you, don't let this opportunity pass. From perfume to pizza, from tweets to flights, U.S. companies are finding what they seek in Ghana: a growing economy, political stability, security, and the enormous promise of the African Continental Free Trade Area. At our mission in Ghana, we have a dedicated interagency deal team focused on supporting U.S. companies, helping them to find partners, navigate the regulatory environment, and win deals. You can contact my team directly at accradealteam@state.gov. I encourage all interested American firms to seek the support of our deal team, made up of the U.S. Commercial Service, the Foreign Agriculture Service, the Trade and Development Agency, the U.S. Agency for International Development, and of course, the State Department's Economic Section. Thank you so much for your kind attention, and have a great couple of days.
Well, Ambassador, thank you so much for your wisdom and your partnership of the U.S.-Ghana relationship for all these years. We really do appreciate all of the things you've done to make sure American companies have a good foothold and Ghanaian companies have an opportunity to export to the United States. So thank you. Well, it's now my distinct pleasure to introduce another friend and ally within the U.S. government, Deputy Assistant. Let's give you a promotion, Bennett. Deputy Assistant of U.S. Trade Representative for Africa. Bennett Harmon has been a great friend of the business communities and an ally to help us understand many of the opportunities that we see across the continent. He's got a deep and rich history of engaging African governments and working with the private sector. In his numerous roles at USTR, he led the effort to establish the steering group to ensure a whole of government strategic approach to trade capacity building in Africa. We've worked with him closely, as I mentioned, on a range of sectoral and regional opportunities, from AGOA to taxation to opening new markets for American goods and services. Bennett, again, thank you for your partnership over the years and all that you've done to strengthen U.S.-Africa ties.
Great. Thanks so much, Scott. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. And it's an honor to be among such a distinguished group of speakers. I hope you're all staying safe in these incredibly challenging times. At USTR, we feel very fortunate to have Ambassador Catherine Tai as the U.S. Trade Representative. She's so committed to the trade relationship with Africa. Under her leadership, she's established a fundamental priority for USTR to have a worker-centered trade policy as part of the Biden-Harris administration's Build Back Better agenda. As we work to strengthen our economic cooperation with the continent, we're determined to implement policies that benefit not only those at the top. We want to foster inclusive growth, sustainable development, and regional integration, and to ensure that all of our respective citizens benefit from the global economy, especially as we recover from the pandemic. Ambassador Tai also wants to ensure that all voices are heard in trade policy formulation. I'm interested in hearing your perspectives about how the U.S. and Ghana can work together toward this vision. Now, Ghana has been an important U.S. trade partner of the United States for a very long time and continues to be so. In both 2020 and during the first 6 months of this year, Ghana was the United States' third largest two-way trade partner in sub-Saharan Africa after South Africa and Nigeria. I'm encouraged that our trade flows with Ghana are recovering significantly between last year and this year. Two-way trade during the first 6 months of this year have surged nearly 57% over the same period last year. And what I think is so noteworthy about the US-Ghana trade relationship is that it is diversified across so many sectors. There's not only trade and investment taking place in extractive industries, but also in agriculture, financial services, franchising, and the tech industries. There are major American corporations investing in Ghana, but also many small enterprises doing business as well. We would like to see such a trade pattern with more countries across the continent. Now, much of Ghana's exports to the United States have been under AGOA, and I'm aware that many African governments are growing concerned about the fact that AGOA is due to expire within 4 years, or at the end of 4 years. Tomorrow, the African Union Mission in Washington will be hosting the annual AGOA midterm review. And that will provide a great opportunity for our respective governments to begin a conversation about the path forward. In the coming months and years, the US Chair will want to engage on this, not just with our counterparts in African governments, but also with members of the private sector, civil society, and worker groups. In thinking about post-2025, we should assess how the broadest scope of partners can derive benefit from the US-Africa trade relationship. As we've come to learn, attracting investment in emerging markets requires far more than just trade preferences. And so we need to be creative and strategic about how we chart our path forward. Now, Congress holds the pen on trade legislation, but we would like to share our best ideas with them. And one key vehicle we have to engage with our African partners over the past 20 years has been the AGOA Forum, which the government of Ghana did a great job of hosting back in 2007. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic is going to prevent us from holding an in-person event this year. But on October 20th and 21st, we will hold a virtual AGOA ministerial meeting, which isn't the same as a forum, but it is what we were able to organize under the circumstances. This event will feature a roundtable between Ambassador Tai and her counterparts, which we hope Minister Cherry Martin will be able to join. It will also include sessions with members of the US Congress and other senior administration officials. We're also encouraging the private sector and civil society to organize side events in the run-up to the virtual AGOA ministerial. Finally, we are tracking closely the incredible work underway to negotiate and implement the African Continental Free Trade Area. Ghana's hosting the Secretariat is testament to the country's commitment to regional integration on a continental scale. I'm interested to hear how countries like Ghana are positioning themselves to build on the AFCFTA, as well as how the American business community in Ghana is planning to leverage it for their operations. The US government has been providing technical assistance to the AFCFTA and is seeking ways that, in addition to those that we can be supportive, we would also like to establish a mechanism for ongoing dialogue and exchange with the AFCFTA Secretariat. As you can see, we have a very full plate of issues before us. I look forward to continuing our engagement. Thank you.
Well, great. And thank you so much, Bennett, again, for your leadership. We're excited about the AGOA Forum. I know the Chamber's planning on participating in a digital event preceding that, and we'll be sure to be providing our members with a platform to help advise and guide Congress and the administration on what the next steps for the AGOA policy should be going forward. It's now my distinct honor to bring to the virtual stage that we're on today the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry of Ghana, Honorable Minister Alan Tremoten, Minister of Trade and Industry for Ghana. As I mentioned, he has an extensive and distinguished record in international trade and public policy, enterprise development, politics, and diplomacy. Prior to his appointment, he served as ambassador of Ghana to the United States from 2001 to 2003. In that role, he negotiated various landmark trade and investment agreements between the United States and Ghana, initiated the establishment of the Ghana United States Economic Council, which played a very strategic role in deepening trade relations between our two countries. He has been a true ally when we've discussed how we want to expand U.S.-Ghana trade and investment. He's been at the table and he's been leading the Ghanaian private sector to further utilize AGOA eligibility, as well as really helping American companies get a strong foothold into the Ghanaian market as a point of operation in Ghana, but beyond. So it's my honor and distinct pleasure to bring to the forefront today the Honorable Minister. Although I note we may be having a slight technical challenge given some time zones. There he is. All right, Honorable Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Scott. And let me skip the regular diplomatic courtesies and stand on existing protocol to extend a very warm regards from Ghana to all of you distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start first by commending the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AmCham for convening this year's Ghana-U.S. Business Forum. As we are all aware, Ghana and the United States have had long-standing and deep fraternal relations based on shared values, mutual respect, and a common heritage. In fact, there are generations of African Americans who trace their ancestry to Ghana. In spite of this strong bond of friendship, I would say that trade and investment between our two countries have not yet reached the levels that would reflect this long-standing friendship and fraternal relations. In my view, however, we have now reached a major turning point in U.S.-Ghana relations. And therefore, this year's forum could not have come at a better time. And I say so based on a number of strategic considerations. First, there's a new U.S. administration in office. I'm not quite sure whether they have fully unveiled their strategy for Africa. But we all know that AGOA was the first landmark legislation in the United States on U.S.-Africa trade and investment relations. AGOA is set to expire in 2025. And so I believe that this year's forum must provide a platform and an opportunity for us to deliberate on our future post-AGOA U.S.-Africa relations. And I believe that knowing the length of time that it takes for legislation to be passed in the United States, one should recognize that we don't have too much time to start this process of consultation and engagement on a post-US, Africa, and Ghana within that context relationship. The second strategic consideration is the fact that in Ghana also we have a new government, albeit we are renewing our mandate, and we have a second term in office as a government, and we have launched a very aggressive program for industrial transformation, which I believe offers strategic entry points for U.S. investments in our country. Now, these new strategic anchor industries that are part of this industrial transformation agenda include the following: vehicle assembly and component manufacturing, garments and textiles, petrochemicals, agro-industry, industrial chemicals, including the processing of industrial salt, integrated bauxite and aluminum, iron and steel, and the manufacture of machinery and equipment. These strategic anchor industries are meant to diversify our economy away from cocoa and gold. And it is my view that together with investments in energy, in telecommunications, and in the financial services sector, there are many new entry points for US Ghana investments which have not yet been explored fully. And this also includes pharmaceuticals. The third strategic consideration is the fact that the COVID pandemic has had a devastating impact on economies all over the world, including Ghana and the United States. And the capacity of countries to be able to emerge out of this pandemic will depend very much on strategic partnerships between countries. And I believe that the US and then Ghana should have a strategic partnership arrangement to develop a post-COVID economic transformation agenda which will support the two economies to our mutual benefit. The fourth strategic consideration, which I believe it's important for what I'm describing as a turning point in US-Ghana trade and investment relations, is the introduction and establishment of AFTA. I know you'd have the opportunity of a more robust discussion on the benefits and the advantages of AFTA for deepening US-Ghana relations. And the US ambassador to Ghana has already spoken eloquently about this. But let me say that in terms of the status of implementation, we already have been able to achieve about 80%, 86% of rules of origin consolidation, meaning that we have 86% rules of origin already agreed on between the state parties to the AFCFTA. And in addition to that, we have 44 countries that have already been able to submit their tariff offers for consideration in terms of the start of trading. So this already provides a basket of goods and a number of countries that are ready to be able to commence trading. But I believe that the entry point for the United States in respect of AFTA is to attract US investments into Ghana to be able to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. What the AFTA means is that a US investor that establishes a manufacturing facility here in Ghana can reach the whole of the continent duty-free, quota-free. And I believe that there could be no better opportunity than now to use AFTA as a stimulus for attracting US investments. But I must say that it's not just about the production of goods to be traded amongst us within the continent. As part of the AFTA negotiations, we've also been able to agree on 5 priority service sectors, which will become the basis of our trade in services agenda. These are business and professional services, that's consulting services, transportation and logistics services, 3 financial services, 4 communications, and 5 tourism. So it does mean that apart from US investors investing in Ghana to take advantage of trade in goods, US companies that are engaged in these 5 priority service sectors also have an opportunity of setting up in Ghana in these areas of services to be able to extend their reach across the whole continent in these priority service sectors. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there could be no better time than now for us between the United States and Ghana to launch a new platform for deepening trade and investment for the mutual benefit of our 2 countries. I wish you very successful deliberation in this forum. I thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Guvere Yao. I'm the Executive Director for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Africa Business Center here in D.C. I would like to really thank the Honorable Minister for the kind words and the call for a new platform for trade and investment between Ghana and the U.S. And, of course, stressing the importance of AGOA to the relationship. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Prudence Sebaizi. He's the Senior Technical Advisor of the AFCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area, representing the Secretary General of the AFCFTA at this forum. Just for you to know that Mr. Prudence is, this, as I said, is a Senior Technical Advisor to the Secretary General. He provides technical and strategic advice to the AFCFTA negotiation institutions. He is extremely well versed into the negotiation, and I'm sure he's going to share a lot of perspective on where we are on the the AFCFTA. But it's also important to note that Mr. Prudence Sebaizi has been working in the field of trade and investment for a long time. Prior to joining the AFCFTA Secretariat, he was appointed to lead a team of experts who provided technical assistance and strategic guidance to strengthen the capacity of the African Union Department of Trade and Industry. Mr. Prudence has worked for a very long time with the government of Rwanda in the area of international trade and regional integration as a Rwanda chief negotiator for the negotiation of the AEC, the East Africa Commission Common Market Protocol since 2006. Mr. Sebaizi is truly not a stranger to the U.S. Chamber and its member, having engaged with us for the past 2 to 3 years. Mr. Sebaizi, the floor is yours, and thank you and welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much, Dr. Guvere Yao. Very good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by recognizing the presence of Honorable Alan, who is the Minister of Trade and Industry of Ghana. I also recognize other dignitaries here, Bennett, who is the Deputy Assistant of U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, His Excellency Sullivan, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Ayesha, who is the President of American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, Scott, who is the President of the U.S. Africa Center. Distinguished Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delivering this statement on behalf of the Secretary General, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, who was not able to make time for this important forum due to prior commitments. He requested me to convey his greetings to you all, but also his apology for not being with us this afternoon. Let me begin by thanking the organizers, the American Chamber of Commerce, Ghana, for inviting the FCFTA Secretariat to be part of the Ghana 2021 US-Ghana Business Forum. I'm pleased to note that the forum aims at, among others, to review trading under the FCFTA and assess how US and Ghanaian companies can take advantage of this opportunity. Please allow me to provide some insight on the FCFTA and the opportunities that FCFTA offers for the US-Africa business relations. I know Honorable Minister has done justice to most of the cases that we wanted to make for Africa attractiveness in terms of business. You know that FCFTA was founded in 2018 when the agreement was signed. And from the 1st of January 2021, it became possible for state parties whose customs procedures are ready to trade under the FCFTA. Currently, we have 40 of the AU member states that have ratified the FCFTA agreement, and they are therefore state parties. We call them state parties by the virtue of ratifying the agreement. They make about 74% of the entire AU membership. And this means that those countries have legally accepted the obligations to open their markets, to reduce their barriers to trade, reduce barriers to investment, and also adhere to the single set of rules for trade and investment on African continent. State parties have committed to reduce tariff on 90% of goods which are traded amongst themselves in equal annual installments until they are fully eliminated within 5 years for non-least developed countries and within 10 years for least developed countries. Another additional 7%, which has been qualified as sensitive goods, tariff will be eliminated within 10 years for non-LDCs and for 13 years for LDCs. LDCs meaning the least developed countries. Then the final 3% is excluded, which means that those products will retain their tariff to allow flexibilities for state parties with particular sensitivities. But this will be subject to a review every 5 years. The scope of the FCFTA is wide, and negotiations have been taking place in phases. Phase 1 of the negotiations established the protocols on trade in goods, trade in services, dispute settlement, and the protocol on trade in goods includes also a number of annexes which touch on rules of origin, non-tariff barriers, customs cooperation, trade facilitation, transit, trade remedies, SPS, which are sanitary and phytosanitary measures, and technical barriers to trade. So the protocol on trade in goods is very wide. Negotiation on phase 2 of the agreement, which cover the competition policy, investment, intellectual property rights, e-commerce, and women and youth in trade are at different stages, and preliminary work has already commenced. The phase 2 protocol on intellectual property rights will create a strong enabling environment for intellectual property creation, protection, administration, and enforcement, which will stimulate innovation and competitiveness of the business sector. Intellectual property rights provide incentives to investors to develop new knowledge, the right to obtain a patent for an invention, for example, encourages the investment of money and effort in research and development. The inauguration of the FCFTA dispute settlement body in April 2021 signals the readiness of the dispute settlement infrastructure to take up any disputes that may arise in the course of trading among the state parties. Today, the case for investing in Africa is stronger than ever. Africa will remain a competitive investment destination for decades to come because of its improving relative to risk profiles, demography, and continental integration. The new business case for Africa rests on factors including the following, and those factors have made African markets increasingly attractive to investors in recent years, and will continue to do so after the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me start with the number one, which is the large, young, and urban population. Africa's population represents approximately 17% of the world's total population, with about 1.3 billion people. It creates a huge opportunity for industries such as the fast fashion and clothing industry, and for services sectors such as telecommunications, banking, and tourism. Africa has the highest urbanization rate in the world, which is expected to drive over 50% of Africans to cities by 2050. These demographic changes will continue to outpace those of similarly positioned economies such as India and China in the coming decades, securing Africa's position as the most demographically attractive investment destination in the world. The second factor is the connectiveness. Africa is connected, let's call it that way. In addition to being increasingly urban, Africa's young population is more connected than ever before. By 2025, more than 500 million Africans will have access to mobile data, and mobile connections are growing not just because of improved access to data, but also the speed of that data. There will be 270 million mobile broadband, LTE, what we call long-term evolution, subscriptions by 2025, and total mobile data traffic flows will increase 12-fold over the next 5 years. The third aspect is that the size of African companies is adequate. When investors examine whether to enter a new market, one of the first considerations is the presence of adequately sized potential partners or customers. Both are abundant in African markets. Throughout the continent, there are 400 companies with annual revenues exceeding $1 billion, with another 700 firms generating over $500 million a year. These enterprises compete in diverse sectors and are gradually competitive. The other important aspect to note is that the cost of doing business in Africa is now going down. African markets have traditionally been small and fragmented, which result in high transaction costs for business and investors. This has placed the continent at a disadvantage relative to other high growth regions such as India and China, which are single, large, and have contiguously regulated markets. The FCFTA is thus a remedy with a comprehensive and holistic approach of what the private sector was missing in the past. Indeed, consolidating Africa into one trade area provides great opportunities for businesses and consumers across the continent, unlocking trade and manufacturing potential and further enhancing industrialization in Africa. The introduction of a continental simplified trade regime should provide small and informal businesses with greater protection and support their participation in the new export opportunities which are created by the FCFTA market. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the FCFTA agreement provides a platform where the US businesses and investors can play an important role in the economic development of Africa. There is now increased and diversified opportunities to promote trade and foreign direct investment, create businesses and spur entrepreneurship, transferring new knowledge and skills within the FCFTA market. By providing a large and attractive market with reduced cross-border barriers, investors can undertake larger revenue projects on a regional rather than national scale. The FCFTA therefore offers an apt response to the reluctance of investors to invest in small, fragmented, and uncompetitive national markets. As I have indicated before, the next wave of investment into African markets should be bold, reforming, focusing on sectors that will define the continent's growth in the coming years. Past experience show that FDI went into areas such as telecommunications, consumer products, and industrial products. The FCFTA has unlocked value chains for investors, especially the US investors. The key sectors that have been already identified with great potential in Africa are pharmaceuticals, automotive sector, automobiles, agro-processing, and financial technology. These are sectors that we think value chains development have potential in Africa. For example, with pharmaceuticals, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has intensified the need for African countries to enhance their capacity to produce pharmaceutical products and vaccines. This provides an opportunity for pharma investments and for technology supporting these investments in Africa. Such investments will depend on enabling factors such as intellectual property rights protection, regulatory approval of new drugs, financing, among others, which are enabled by the FCFTA. This provides many opportunities for the US companies to invest in the sector. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with the harmonized trade regulations and better movement of goods and services across the continent, the case for production in Africa for Africa is now a reality. Where business operators in the member states can play a significant role, of course. With the FCFTA, lower trade costs, greater productive capacity, and larger markets within Africa could spur demand for US goods and services and incentivize greater US investment in the region. For the US, FCFTA reduces its headache with creating separate frameworks for different African countries. With the business case for Africa now is clear, we encourage foreign investors, excuse me, to enter the African market. In this regard, we are pleased that this US-Ghana Business Forum is taking place to promote the presence of US business and investors in Ghana for that matter. So let me end here by thanking all of you. It is our expectation that at the end of today's forum, we can confidently say that not only in Africa, we are open for business, but also the US is ready to do business with Africa. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
In this shifting, driven world, the one thing you can be sure of is change. It's tough to stay ahead, but that's okay, just as long as you always know who to count on. We are Cummins. We create the power solutions people depend on. It's what we've done for more than 100 years. Sure, all that history makes us proud, but the future pulls us forward.
Babe, I'm at KFC. Do you want anything?
I'm actually not that hungry, babe.
I'm actually not that hungry, babe.
Coming right up.
Are you sure?
I just ate.
Add an extra, I just ate.
Got it.
But
I'm fine, don't get me anything, okay?
Try the new KFC Dual Bucket. 4 delicious pieces of KFC chicken, 4 crispy golden strips and chips. The perfect sharing meal for two.
see you now, babe.